Hello ladies, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have the first in our series of Bundle to Go cards for colorful seasons. I picked the bright yellow Color Theory paper to correspond with this card. Since it's summertime and it's a bright sunny day, I thought we would do something sunny and cheery. So now this set comes with these wonderful framelits, seasonal layer framelits with lots of options. Okay, but this card we're actually only going to use a little cup here as our embellishment. This one's going to be a watercolor wash card. Okay, and I'm going to show you another way of doing a watercolor wash than our traditional way of doing it. So let me sit down here so I can get closer to my paper. So usually when we do a watercolor wash, and I'm going to do the watercolor wash on watercolor paper, we often use our aqua painters, and then we usually use the lids of our stamp pads to put some reinker in and pick up the color from there, or we squish our ink pad closed and then we use what we've squished on. But today we're going to do a different technique. This is if you don't have an ink pad but you have the refill. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paper wet just a little bit. Starts with fibers breaking up a bit. Okay. So, and then I'm going to take my reinker. I'm starting with So Saffron, and I've got my clear block here. And I'm just going to put one little drop on there. And then I'm going to drop some water from my aqua brush there too, to thin that out. You see the water on there? And then I'm going to wash the center of my card, kind of back and forth, side to side, to give it that light sunny tone. Okay, then I'm going to step up to crushed curry. I'm going to add just a dot right to that yellow. Again, I'm going to thin that out with a drop or two of water. And then I'm going to color wash one end of the card. See how that's just lighter? It's a nice rich sunny color there. Okay, so now I'm going to rinse that off. And for now I'm just going to flip this over because I can use the other side of this block without washing that off. So now I'm using Crumb Cake. This is kind of my sand color for the card. Again, one drop will do it. And drop some water on there, spread that one out. Because remember, our inks are all water-based, so they'll thin it right out. And then I'm just going to aqua paint the base of the card here. And you can make that as dark as you want. You just go back over with more layers of the color. Now what I will advise is that you either dry this with your heat tool or set it aside to dry for a while before you go ahead and work with it more, because we're going to stamp directly onto this. I've got one that I watercolored a little while ago that I'm going to substitute in here. This one's mostly dry. I can still feel there's moisture in it, but it's mostly dry. Okay, so, and then when you're done with this photopolymer block, you just wash it off in the sink with water, dry it off, you're ready to go using it for stamping again. Alright, so I'm going to move this to the side. Now, if you don't wait long enough, which I didn't on one of my samples, you'll see how the water started to run where I stamped on there. So hopefully we'll have better luck with this one. Okay, so now I'm using this deck chair, and I'm going to use soft suede. And I'm going to stamp my chair frame down here in the bottom of my image. And now I'm going to take the chair itself, and I'm stamping off because my stamp pad is pretty wet, but then I am huffing it. And you're going to set with these two pieces down here and that little piece up there. I'll stand up to do this. That's how you position the seat, the canvas seat into there. Okay, and then just press that in to transfer the color on your watercolor paper. Now, to just breathe, we are going to do some selective stamping. So I am stamping with my Cajun Craze. So I'm going to go ahead and ink my stamp like usual. Then I'm going to take a Post-it note. So first I'm going to cover the word just. So I'm just going to take my sticky parts right here and I'm going to cover over the word just and stamp the second word first, the breathe. So I'm going to huff that and then I'm going to stamp that over my chair. This is why it's important your chair goes down near the bottom. Okay, then I take my Post-it off, I re-ink the whole stamp, and then put your Post-it over the breathe word. And if you don't have a Post-it, just use a piece of scrap, copy paper and maybe some tape or washi tape to adhere that to the block. I huff the word just, and I stamp that above. And there we go. So you've taken this one long stamp and you've made it into a 2-tier stamp just by doing that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and mount all this up. So I've got my card base. I've got some Designer Series paper from Color Theory. So I'm going to add some snail to the back of these pieces. And then I'm going to put those down. So the bigger one goes at the bottom. Try to line that right up with the bottom of your card. And then I gave a little gap and then I just put the next one on. Okay. And if you have a little overhang, just take your paper snips and give it a trim. Okay, just like so. Now the next part is I've got this mounted on a piece of white, but before you mount it, I stamped and I used my little die cut to die cut that little picture, that little cup out. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece and mount my Watercolor Wash onto this white mount. Then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of that to lift it off the face of the card. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I just put that on the front of my card, like so. Then I've got my little cup here, my little iced tea cup, and a glue dot. Just right size for that. See? And you put that here next to your chair, and you're ready to just sit and relax. So, I hope you enjoyed. Now for the envelope, I just went real simple. I just stamped that same glass of refreshing drink of whatever it is on there. So I hope you enjoyed the first round of these bundles glue cards. We're going to do all the different seasons, so stay tuned and keep watching, and I'll stamp with you all soon, I hope. Until I see you, happy stamping!